Alright, it's winter time, so video indoors is easier for us to do. It's also been a long time since we did a knife review, and we feel we owe it to our subscribers who subscribe to our channel because of our knife reviews. I know some people really enjoy them. So we thought we'd get another one out there, and I also still have a large collection of some of the nicest knives ever made. So I thought I'd show a couple more of those today. And we've got on the table a Busse Basic 7 and their sister company's Scrapyard knives. And this is the Scrapyard Knife Co. What was this one called? Damn, I think I'm going to have to look it up. Pause there for a sec, buddy. I just hit stop. Okay, I tried looking it up and I can't even find out what this knife was. My apologies. But it's basically built on the same kind of design philosophy as the Basic 7 by Busse Knives. A little bit wider blade going this way on the Scrapyard Knife Works. As well, they have a much larger area here for you to choke up on the blade. You can wrap your finger in there to try to do finer details. And the drop point on it is a little bit more pronounced on the Scrapyard Knife Works knife than on the Basic 7. And also the belly on this blade is a little bit more pronounced. Jesus, that's sharp. I would say as a chopper, probably the features of this here Scrapyard knife are maybe even a little bit better than the Busse Basic 7. The Basic 7 though has been like an industry standard among knife collectors and outdoor enthusiasts. This is highly regarded as one of the best survival knives ever made. I'm going to measure this now, and it's about 7.5 on each of these. Yep, each blade is 7.5 long. The overall knife length is about 1 foot, 12 inches, maybe 12.5 for this one here, for the Scrapyard knives. You want a blade in that range of length for doing things like firewood. If you have to baton down through wood, so you've got a small block and you hit it and then you take another block of wood and try to drive your knife down through. Obviously, to do up any kind of diameter wood, you need a blade that's going to extend out over that diameter of the piece of wood. So you want to have something about this size to do most chores. Then a lot of people like to carry a smaller knife as well to do finer, whittling or whatever type of task, cutting rope and stuff. So you usually pair a knife like this up with another knife that might have like a 3-inch blade, and those would be the tools that you carry out in the woods. Both knives are a drop point, and that is again for the same batoning that I just mentioned. You want to have a knife is fairly sturdy here on the back end. These knives are about 1/4 inch thick, maybe a little bit less than that, but they're very thick on the back, which makes them very strong. And the tips on these knives are very tough because they don't, come out like a Bowie knife to a point this way. A dagger, of course, would be useless for batoning through wood because you've got a double-sided blade. So anyways, this is what people mostly have settled on for survival knives, is fairly thick, robust steel in a drop point, and around the 6-inch, 7-inch blade length mark is what your ideal woods knife would be. Now, these are also made out of awesome steel. This is the Busse's proprietary Infi steel that went into the Basic 7. And over here, I think you have ball bearing, heat-treated ball bearing steel in a lot of the Scrapyard and Swamp Rat knives. Both seem to be really robust tool steels that I don't think you could ever break. You could use these as basically a pry bar for banging through wood, whatever it is, and I don't think you'll ever have a quality problem with these. I will say the Infi steel of the higher end Busse line tends to be very corrosion resistant, whereas the heat-treated ball bearing steel on the Swamp Rat and Scrapyard knives, you do start to get little rust spots here and there on the portions that aren't coated like this. So highly recommend the type of handles that they have. These are also seemingly very durable. I would say far more durable than a cold steel handle. And anytime you live in a cold area and it's winter time, you want to have one of these rubberized type handles on it so that your hands don't get freezing cold when you're holding on to this thing. Where these aren't full tang, these companies would probably put as robust a tang into these knives as is possible, where they do make most of their knives as full tang knives. So I don't think this company would go and cheap at all on what's in underneath this handle. The only issue, of course, with a handle like that is over time and a lot of usage if you were to start to wear it out. And I guess worst case scenario, you take some hockey tape or something and just wrap it all up again to keep your knife going. So if I were to recommend some top quality survival knives for people to buy, anything in the line of Busse, Scrapyard, and Swamp Rat knives, I think are just fantastic. Now, what is an issue for me, and I go through this every time I do a knife review on knives like this, is that I just don't think a survival knife at all is a very practical tool. And that may come down to the types of forest we have in Canada and what we're dealing with, but basically an axe is going to be far superior if you're stuck in the woods and you have to make shelter and make fire and that sort of thing. You would be far better off holding even a hatchet in your hand than having a survival knife. So while they're nice tools and they're good for, you know, the weekend camping trip or whatever, if you're going to do any real volume of like securing your own firewood for the winter, you're going to need a bow saw and an axe and a splitting axe as well, and just, you know, you need full-size friggin' tools that are meant for the job, not some rinky-dink knife that you're going to go out and chop, you know, a night's firewood with. Anyway, that's it for today's review. Hope you guys like it. We'll come and show you some other, I've got another bunch of nice survival knives in the collection, and I've got other more combat-oriented knives, which is kind of what I like. We'll get back to doing some more of these videos maybe this winter. Thank you everybody for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. Anything to say, Leo, to add to that?
Nothing. See ya.